App State, let's talk about your experience. Were you there when when Hurricane Helene arrived?
Yes, so it was just a normal week of classes and stuff, and it was Parents Weekend, that upcoming weekend, so we were all checking the weather to make sure it wasn't going to rain during the game, but it was Friday and Thursday were going to be pretty heavily, like, rain and stuff, but Saturday looked clear, so we were all like, it's fine. But then we woke up Thursday morning, all classes canceled. I went to my friend's apartment and was stuck there for 4 days.
Wow. Okay. Why were you stuck there for 4 days? Now, let's talk about where App State is located and in relationship, where was your friend's apartment?
So it is in Boone, North Carolina.
Right.
And my friend's apartment is right off of 421 going out of Boone.
Okay. So 421 was flooded, and also is 421 in passable or drivable condition now? Do you know?
Yes, it is. I actually just got back yesterday from a day trip, and the roads are looking a lot better. There's a lot of people out there helping, cleaning up.
All right.
All that.
All right. Let's talk about the. Are you a full-time resident? You've been living in Carteret County for years. Were you here during Florence?
So I was born here. I lived here till I was about 5, and then I moved away, and we moved back in 2020. So I got here right after.
Okay. All right. Because in many regards, Florence, of course, very similar and a lot of rain. The only difference is it didn't stay on the ground like it did there in Boone and the surrounding areas. All right. Question for you, and I'm going to open the mics up for any of the questions from the panel here. But looking at the experience that you had, does it give you a different opinion now about hurricanes?
A little bit. I mean, growing up, living at the beach, and even when I didn't live here, I would be here all throughout the year. It's kind of just something you get used to when you are local here and living at any coast or anything like that. But like a hurricane in the mountains is obviously something I don't think really many people have experienced, and it definitely changed my perspective on things, and it was very scary, and I'm very happy that I was safe and able to get out.
Okay. What was it like for you as you were sitting there in your friend's apartment and watching the water rise? And by the way, did it rise into the building, or was it just surrounding the building where you were staying?
It was surrounding the building that we were staying in because the apartment that I was at was a lot more elevated than the rest of apartments and housing in Boone. So we were just not able to leave the actual premises of the apartment, but we had no water, no electricity, no internet, nothing. So we were just trying to figure out what to do and kind of waiting for it to go by, but it definitely took quite a bit.
Okay, whole bunch of questions. I asked the question last week about what was the most important aspect of living, and the fact that you had no water, no electricity. By the way, what did you do for food?
We just had to make do with what we had in the apartment, which wasn't much. We just had about 4 cans of soup, and there were 4 of us, so we were trying to space it out so we could make it through a couple days.
Wow. Sally, you got to...
I was going to say, last week we spoke to 2 people who had been up to Western North Carolina trying to help, bring resources and everything. So what was said from them was the importance of community kind of in that time, kind of how like churches were coming together and helping each other. So I just kind of want to know what you saw of that while you were up there.
I mean, I've seen so much. The community of Boone everyone is very close, caring, and loving of each other. So there are so many different organizations up there right now helping people out. There is so much support. Like when I went up there yesterday, I was seeing groups of people on the side of the road picking up trash, picking up just all this debris and stuff. And it's just a very supportive community. And it's a good thing to see when you have to go through something so difficult like that. Because it's a devastating thing to go through, but when you see your community get right back up and try and put it right back to how it was before, it's definitely a very comforting feeling to know I live in a place like that.
I said earlier I called you a refugee of sorts, and we've got a refugee here literally in the studio, and we've got Caden who's evacuated from Orlando. And we're going to get to her experience here in a moment. But back to the issue of 4 cans of soup, water. How did you acquire water? And then the next question is heat. What did you do? I'm sure it was kind of warm. What did you do during those 4 days?
There really wasn't much to do, but by Friday night, the rain had calmed down, and we obviously didn't want to leave because we weren't able to for a while.
Right.
But we were able to there's a gas station right across from our apartment. So we were able to go over there, and obviously people hadn't been going out a lot, so there was water there, thankfully. So we were able to get some water. But really, all we did was play like Mario Kart the whole time because we didn't have any internet. And that was the only thing that was working. But we would just kind of go stand out in the parking lot and just try to look around and see how things were going. But we couldn't really do much, so.
I like the Mario cards. Real quick question for all of you. Do you all have any board games, any games in your house that you could get your hands on? Charlie does because you got kicked out of your house, right?
Yes, yeah, we have a lot of games and such in our house, just in case we ever get really bored.
Oh, okay. Izzy?
I do believe we have some games in our house.
I like that. I do believe.
Oh, we do. We have Taco Cat.
Okay, I'm lost on that one. Okay, let me hear it, Francis.
My family's big into Jenga.
Okay.
Very big fans of Jenga.
All right.
My family's big into that one game, like King's Crown. No, it's like a card game. It's like King something, and you.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, we have tournaments. It's very fun.
All right. And what about you, Kate?
I know we do have some board games. I know we have like a chess box somewhere in my closet. So.
This comes back to the question I'm going to ask in a few minutes. If you're stranded like Ava was, or you're evacuating like Caden is, the question I have is, what do you want to take with you? Because to Ava's point, she had no internet. And by the way, Ava, how did you finally get, I'm pretty confident your parents, in spite of what Sally says about you, I'm sure the parents were concerned about you, but and I'm saying that tongue in cheek. But how did you get information to your parents and to the family?
So fortunately, I was the only one. So we had no Wi-Fi. That was the only thing that we didn't have. But I was the only one with had like 2 bars of service. So I was able to contact my parents and stuff because they were actually on the way for Parents Weekend, but they stopped in Durham to just wait and see how the weather does, which I'm very grateful that they did not drive up there because I don't know what would have happened to them. So I just was trying to find, I was walking all over the apartment, all across the parking lot, trying to find some cell service, but I finally got in contact with them and tried to give them a rundown of what was going on. So
okay, now you're home now. What's the status of App State? Will you be going back to school anytime soon? And okay, go ahead.
So right now we are not able to return to classes, as the earliest right now is October 16th.
So much for this year's educational experience.
Oh, no.
What have you heard from have you been in contact with other of your classmates?
Yeah, I have. Most of my friends have made it home and stuff, and they're doing really good. And it's just, it's sad. We all love being there. I have found such a good group of people, and I have found the things I love to do there. So it's really sad to have to kind of sit to the side and just watch your school have to be rebuilt and things be put back together. So
how much damage was done at the school? Have you seen?
There was quite a bit. We had a lot of sinkholes, which was really bad. And then I think one of the dorms did end up catching on fire from a generator, and just a lot of flooding in the buildings.
Well, all right. Any questions? Any observations? Any thoughts for Ava? looking around. I'm not seeing anything. Okay, Ava, stay with us. I'm going to keep you on the line. I want you to. We're going to talk to Caden here in just a moment, and I want to talk about what it is that you think you would take if you're in Ava's kind of a similar situation. What'd you do with all your clothes and all your books and what have you, Ava?
I was frantically packing on Saturday morning last week, trying to get some stuff together. So I just grabbed a couple T-shirts and shorts and stuff and some shoes, grabbed my book bag, and then I left. So I have been trying to scramble through all my clothes, and so I took a day trip yesterday, and I got some of my stuff back, which was good.
All right. We're going to continue. Charlie, you have a question?
How long were you stuck how long were you stuck with the people that you were staying with for?
For 4 days.
How'd y'all get along after 4 days? Did you eventually start getting tired of each other, or?
No, they're not. Well, it's funny. I mean, we're all best friends, so it's kind of like it was just a long sleepover, and they're actually coming down here tomorrow to spend the week with me, so that's fun.
That's nice. That's
All
good.
Right. Caden, I want to go to you. I kind of kidded you about this, but it's not all that humorous. You and your family have evacuated.
Yeah.
When did you make the decision to leave?
My mom was talking about it for a couple days when we heard about the hurricane.
Milton.
Yes, Hurricane Milton. When we heard about
does
that.
That really? That just sounds so powerful.
No, it really doesn't.
No, I know.
But I don't know. She thought about leaving, my mom, and she was just watching the weather to see how the storm would progress. And when they were like, it's going to be Category 4 or 5, she said, well, we're going to go. We're going to leave for a couple days.
When did you leave?
I left. When did I leave? I think it was yesterday, last night.
Okay, so you just arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wow. How was what was the traffic like coming up here?
The traffic, honestly, I thought it was going to be bad because it's like everyone's leaving,
right.
but it honestly wasn't. Like it was almost just a straight shoot here.
Okay. What did you bring with you?
We actually brought, my family's quite big. My parents have 5 kids, including me, so we brought quite a bit of stuff. We each packed.
You said a bus?
A bus would be so much better. No, we each brought our own little bag full of like our toothbrush, clothes, socks, and we have pets. I have a cat and a turtle, so we brought them. And then
How did you keep the turtle calm?
the turtle, I don't think the turtle cares, but the cat was meowing like the whole way. So.
Understood fully. All right. What did you do with all your special possessions, the photos and things like that?
Photos. So my mom has like a big old binder that she keeps almost all of our like baby photos and stuff in. We took that with us and like important paperwork.
Papers, right?
Yeah. But like any like special knickknacks or anything we put up in the top of our closets.
Mm-hmm.
Like my electronics that I had to leave there, I put at the very top of my closet. So if there is any like water or flooding,
mm-hmm.
it doesn't hit that, or hopefully it doesn't.
Okay, Orlando's inland, and so hopefully that won't be the.
I don't think it'll be that, but it's just like preparations in case.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, to Ava's perspective.
Oh, yes.
Everybody thought, and including myself, because the mountains usually deflate hurricanes just because the rebound of the wind against the mountains, and it just kind of stirs it up. But the rain, the significant amount of rain that they had. Okay, now I'm going to hand it over to you guys. What are you going to take with you if you have to evacuate? Francis, I'm going to drop the bomb on you on the first one.
Well, in hindsight of our last discussion, I would certainly want to bring my cell phone with me.
Well, for what purpose? You can't. Ava, would she be?
Hopefully, if I had some service, maybe.
Okay, Ava, did you have any games on your cell phone?
No. Oh my gosh, I had none. I had just deleted them too because I had no storage on my phone. So
I have Crossy Road.
Okay, all right. But that would be one aspect of that. You can use that for as long as you can get electricity to charge your phone. All right. So other than your cell phone, what else would you take, Francis?
I mean, I have a portable fan that doesn't need to be
Okay.
plugged in. I would
Okay.
take that because
Mhm.
I get very hot.
Right.
Just basic things like clothes, toothbrush, like Caden said. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you? I don't want to ask you. I don't want to put any pressure on you, Caden. I'm going to drop that. All right.
Okay.
Sally, let me hear it. What would you take with you?
Well, my family has evacuated before. We evacuated for Florence. Further,
Okay.
we actually evacuated to Western North Carolina. So yeah, but I think now I would probably take clothes and everything, like they said, obviously, and then I'd probably take some books. We took some games.
Okay, you did take games.
Yes, we took books, games, all of that, and then I just remember. I mean, I was a lot younger. That was like 5 years ago. So I was
We're like 12.
yeah, I was like 12, and I was so scared that I was gonna come back and my house was gonna be like demolished, which it ended up being fine. But I remember like ransacking my room and trying to find anything with any sentimental value and packing a bag that was way bigger than what it needed to be. But yeah, I think I would still probably take a couple like
The
sentimental.
sentimental value is what I'm interested in as well.
Yeah.
All right, Izzy, grab that phone, that microphone. What would you take with you?
Well, are we like talking family or essentials?
Well, you're leaving with your family.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I would have to bring my cat because
Why?
he can't withstand
They've
the
got 9
hurricane
lives.
alone.
All right. Okay.
That and like a change of clothes, maybe a lot of clothes actually. I don't want to leave.
But what about personal? I mean,
Personal
things.
things?
Things, yeah.
I think I would bring my oil pastels so that I'd have something to do.
You draw.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like Sally said, I'd bring some books.
Okay.
And yeah, I guess that's it.
Charlie, let me hear what you would think.
Well, for non-essentials, I'd bring. So this is one board game called Risk that
I know it.
yeah. It's such a fun game.
He's beat me so many times at that.
Yeah, you're terrible. But
Little competition here.
yeah, but I'd also bring my dog. I love my dogs.
Right.
And
But you evacuated.
Evacuated to my grandparents' house. They don't live that
Too far
Like,
away.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a 10-ish minute drive. But another thing I'd bring. So I have this stuffed. In terms of sentimental value, I have this stuffed animal of Winnie the Pooh. I've had him since I was like 3,
Understood.
and I bring him with me everywhere. I don't keep him in my bed now because I have my dog who's a puppy, and he'd probably
Right.
tear him to shreds.
But
So,
okay, but sentimental value.
yes.
Ava, and thank you for staying with us. The fact that you moved from here to college, did you, when you left college, did you sort of wonder about some of the items you were leaving behind? Were you concerned about them? Because obviously you took things with you that kind of represented home life, things of that nature.
Yeah. I definitely was worried about some of that stuff, but I was just more in the headspace of I made it out and my friends made it out and we're okay. So some of that stuff really didn't even cross my mind for a while until being here for like 4 days. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have anything. And I was just I was doing my laundry every 2 days.
Yeah, eventually the clothes wear out from that. Caden, the fact that you now have evacuated, I'm curious, do you have contact back home with any of the neighbors? Do your parents have?
I'm not really close with my neighbors like that, but my girlfriend does live in Florida, so they couldn't really leave. I mean, they don't have any family anywhere else. And when you're evacuating, it's really like it is a choice because you have to have the money, one, to do that.
Right.
It's quite expensive to just get up and leave. But I am in touch with her, and we are like keeping contact as the storm gets closer to there.
The aspect of evacuation, Charlie, you got pushed out of your house by a tree. Sally, your family made a decision. Did they talk to you about that, or did they just simply say, "Okay, Sally, you and your brother, we're heading out"?
My parents, yeah, we were not really a part of the decision, but
Okay.
Essentially, my parents decided that my dad would stay and take care of the house, and we
His
took
business.
the pets, and yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, what's your thought about evacuating, Izzy? Would you evacuate? Do you feel
if I had the choice and the money to evacuate, I definitely would. Because I feel like a lot of people are dragged down by not having the money.
Well,
But
even the cost, of course, is really transportation, but also finding a bed,
yeah.
and that's a real challenge. Francis, you would you setting aside, assuming that you have the capacity to make a decision, you can go or you don't want to go. You can stay. Let's make that assumption. What would you do? Would you stay or would you evacuate?
I mean, looking in the past, my family stayed for Florence. Our house certainly did undergo some damage while, like, we were in it, of course, but
Right.
It wasn't anything like to the extent of Charlie's house or anything like that. So it's really, I don't know, it was a tough call. I personally would probably feel more comfortable evacuating, but
Okay. No, to that point, and Ava, when when the storm started, you of course were in the apartment there in Boone. Were you getting notifications of evacuation or recommending evacuation?
I'm trying to remember. I feel like we got a lot of notifications saying don't go anywhere, don't leave, don't drive.
Okay,
don't
stay
go
off the
outside.
roads. Yeah, but how about in advance of the storm arriving?
No, because nobody knew that it was going to be that bad. And I think that's kind of a big argument going on right now up there, is that the people are saying that the school didn't prepare us enough or the town didn't prepare anyone enough, but nobody knew that this was going to happen. This came by surprise to everybody. And I think it is just odd for people to argue that no one was told to prepare anything. But, like, when does stuff like this happen in the mountains is my thing. When I have lived at the beach, I have been going to the mountains growing up, and I have never heard of anything like what just happened. Like places like Asheville and Chimney Rock, Chimney Rock is not even there anymore.
I know.
Obviously, if people had the opportunity to prepare and leave or just get things set up so they can stay safe, they would.
What's your thought about after 2 months from now? What do you have you even thought about what is going to probably be a challenge for those residents, those students, for example, in Buncombe County? As a matter of fact, I don't even know if we're going to try to reach out to the superintendent there of schools, who used to be our superintendent, Dr. Rob Jackson. I'm curious. These students may not be getting back to school for a long time. So I'm just curious, what's your thoughts about the sustainable recovery? Your thoughts, Sally?
I was just gonna say something that I thought was interesting was that my mom has a friend who lived in I don't know, somewhere in Western North Carolina, and has moved in with her parents. She has 2 kids. She's moved in with her parents, and she is now enrolled her kids in school in Charlotte, which is where her parents live.
Gotcha.
Which, so I mean, if that gives you any sort of idea, that everybody thinks it's going to be a very long time before kids get back to school.
The whole idea of missing school, Francis, would that be a problem for you?
Like for my family, would my
For you?
For me?
Yeah, forget your family.
Oh.
Nobody cares about your family.
I was gonna say I don't know if they would send me to Charlotte.
No, but the fact that you weren't able to go to school.
Right. I think that definitely would disrupt like a lot going on in my life because this is a big year for us.
It's a social center for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Izzy, your thoughts?
That would be horrible because I love going to school. And also,
Wait a second, Izzy.
Okay.
Hold on. There's medication for people like you.
Okay.
Come on. Really? You like going to
Yes,
school?
because I get to see everybody I love, and it's fun to me. And also, it's my senior year, and everybody
That's a
else
good
who's a
point.
senior, that would really suck if I didn't get that experience.
Charlie, you're a junior.
Yeah, it'd be awful in terms of the fact that, like, this is a very big year in terms of, like, education, and, like, this is what colleges mostly look
As a
at.
matter, they do look at junior year. That's absolutely right. I want to make mention
So
of
if
that. You're
I
correct. Yeah.
get messed up on this, it's going to have a really big effect and could possibly screw up which colleges I get to go to, which would be very bad.
that came about as a result of it became a big issue with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Caden, the fact that you are, and of course, you're going to virtual school, but your friends, your social environment, does it concern you that you may be coming back to displaced community where your friends are going to be gone for long periods of time?
Obviously, yeah, it's very concerning. I have a lot of friends in that area, and for school for them, they're closing out for like the next week to 2 weeks
Minimum?
So yeah,
Yeah.
literal like minimum effort.